Hey everybody, Doug here with B&H, and I have Mike Bubolo here with Sony, along with a special guest here. This is an enormous 600mm G Master lens. The first 600mm, is that correct in the lineup?
It's Sony's
Great.
600, yeah.
And it also happens to be probably is this the largest lens?
It is the largest lens that we have, yeah.
And you know, surprisingly, it doesn't actually weigh as much as it looks. We also have the 200-600G lens. This is a 5.6 to 6.3. Well, let's start with literally the elephant in the room here. What can you tell me about the 600mm?
So the 600 has been a longly anticipated lens for us. We came out with the 400mm G Master last year. This is our 10th G Master lens. And as everyone knows, G Master really revolutionizes what lenses can do. It used to be that you had to choose sharpness or you had to choose beautiful bokeh. And now you're able to do both with G Master. So you're gonna get extreme sharpness and you're gonna get the most silky smooth bokeh that you can have. And the 600 allows people and professional photographers to do things that they weren't able to do with our system. They'd have to adapt lenses, they'd have to adapt third-party lenses to it, which was okay and they functioned very well. But now we have our own and we're able to give that same standard of optical quality, autofocus, and of course the world's lightest 600, almost hand-holdable.
So something like this, I could definitely imagine is sports, wildlife,
Perfect
extremely demanding work that requires those really critical.
Yeah, I mean, it's a staple
moments.
in a lot of sports photographers' outfits. If you're shooting soccer, football, it's really the #1 lens that photographers use. It's just highly sought after. And of course, like you said, for wildlife, it's pretty impressive, and it's just one of the most sought after lenses out there. So it's good to have it in the lineup.
Is there any specific feature? I see there's a lot of toggles here, if we turn right here. Anything specific about the autofocus system to this lens?
So what's interesting about this lens is what we wanted to do, because a lot of people, once you get to that level, you have multiple lenses. So this lens is exactly the same in the first 5/8 of the lens as the 400. So everything is exactly the same. Where you put your hands, the focusing system, everything is exactly the same as the 400. So you can pick one up and you can pick up the other and it feels exactly the same way in your hands. It's just slightly longer on the front barrel. So it does have the same features as the 400, 2 XD linear autofocusing motors, which is the second prized possession of the lens, first being optical quality, second being the amazing XD linear focusing motors, because what it does is it moves one of the smaller lenses in the lens, and it's able to move and drive on very strong magnets. So it runs magnets on rods. So it's able to move extremely fast, and it's able to move extremely accurate. Because as we introduced with the A9 and some of the other cameras not too long ago, we have extreme eye autofocus and we have intelligent animal eye autofocus. So these are all things that this focusing system and the mirrorless system in our cameras are able to give you. And without the XD linear autofocusing system or the direct drive SSM motor system, it's not going to be able to do that.
And now what can you tell me about its little brother here?
Its little brother, it seems little, but it's actually...
It feels almost heavier. I guess it's just like an optical illusion.
It's compressed.
Yeah, it almost feels heavier, but...
What's nice about the 200-600, it's not a breakthrough in the industry to have that focal length, but what is a breakthrough is having it have such extreme optical quality and such a professional build. Because in this range, usually you don't have very good optical quality because that's a pretty significant zoom range from 200 to 600.
Right.
A 3-time zoom range, but it's the first internal autofocusing one. So it gives you extreme sharpness and detail. Where the MTF charts on the 600, as you can imagine, is just, it looks like you just forgot to put the line in the MTF chart. It's just straight across. So you really have to get like a 4K monitor to be able to even see it.
You were showing me, yeah.
As you know, it's light. It's the lightest 600 ever made for a full frame camera. But what's even more unique and what we did was the weight is like it is on the 400 is all over the foot of the lens. Everything is condensed into a small part of the lens. So not only is it extremely light, but when you're using it, the flexibility and the hand-holdability of it is just really impressive. It's not very often that we can say, oh, I was hand-holding a 600mm lens and be able to get amazing shots. So with the stabilization in the body and the stabilization in the lens, and the ergonomics and the weight shift of the elements, you'll be able to literally hand hold this 600mm lens. It's impressive. And to further that, the usability of it and the design, you have customizable rings like you do on the 400, and you also have customizable buttons on the outside of the camera. It just makes your shooting a lot more efficient and a lot more enjoyable.
All right, everyone, well, this is it. This is the 600mm G Master Series constant f4 aperture and the 200 to 600mm G Series lens from Sony. Thank you, Mike, for joining us as always. Hope you enjoyed all the pictures. We'll see you next time. This is Doug from B&H.